Okay, let's zoom through this part. This is just a bunch of different examples on different channels, different growth channels. I recommend that you choose one of these as much as you can. Two is okay if you have time. And this is a bunch of examples. You've probably seen all of these different channels, but what I'm going to talk about is like specifically around building community. What are ways to approach these channels in a way that's community and connection focused? And if you have other ideas for each of the channels as we're talking about it, please put them in the chat also. I'm sharing, right? Yeah, okay. So these are the 10 that we're gonna talk about. And I put them into an order of like connection to learning. This is not strict, meaning like you can approach these here in a very connection kind of way. So this is not like a strict, like if you have a certain kind of ratio, you definitely only should do this channel. But it's like thinking about like the different channels and which ones are more appropriate for a connection heavy ratio versus a learning heavy ratio. DMs obviously is much more connection based, and that's the one I'll go through each of these and my thoughts on how to make these work for a community business. So DMs, this is basically cold outreach. So what's important here is you're like focusing on them first. Before I reach out to anyone on DM or get on a Zoom, I always take one deep breath and I set an intention to connect with the person, to really see them as a human. I think that's important with most of these. I think it's like a little hack where you can really be yourself when you see somebody else as a human. So I recommend that before you send any kind of DM. And the important thing, if you're going to do cold outreach, there's probably a reason why you're reaching out. You've researched, and this person might be relevant for the community that you're building. What you do in the DMs is not pitch them the thing that you're doing, but add value, offer something for free, and or ask for feedback on something you're doing. And don't pitch them anything. Like if they're interested, they'll join your email list and then they'll get the information when it's ready to, they'll get pitched from your email list or they'll join your community. You don't have to actively invite them in the DMs. This is like specifically if you're reaching out to them cold and they don't know you. So that's how I would approach it from a connection point of view, DMs. The next one's referrals. So referrals are specifically your members who are referring other people. So people who are in your community and they're like having referrals through your community. I think the best way of running a referral program is to reward your members with things that take them deeper into the community. If there's levels to the community, if there is a group in the community that like it gets extra calls, or there's a way to go deeper into the community, that's a really good reward for referrals. If you're like a group coaching community or not a very big community, giving a one-on-one with you is a really good referral bonus. And all of these things, what they do is they keep it to mostly intrinsic motivation. You can also reward your members with a discount from their membership or things like that, but I prefer the benefits that are about them being excited about your community and sharing it with others versus, oh, I'm going to make this amount of money if I refer people to this community. So what's important as you're designing your referral program is that you explain how the community growing is going to help everyone, because it is like the more the community reaches the right people and grows, the better the community becomes for them. So explaining that and recruiting them as part of your team to grow the community is a good way to approach referrals. The next one is affiliates. So affiliates are different from referrals because these are not necessarily people who are in your community. But they should be people who know you and know your work. Again, they're not just like trying to promote you to make money. Try to like find ways to keep their motivation at least a little bit intrinsic. So at least a little bit because they're friends with you and they respect your work and they want to help your community grow. Though affiliates, usually they do get compensated with money or with credit or however you're working with them. And I think like with a lot of these different ones, I feel like I ended them with become friends with them. These are your people, and these are people who you can help in different ways. And your affiliates can be your mentors, they can be people who are a little bit ahead of you or peers to you. Make sure you're also adding value to them and keeping top of mind by like building those relationships. Are there downsides to having affiliates who, sorry, Katie, what did you say?
No, go ahead. I was going to surface the same question. You go ahead.
Are there downsides to having affiliates who are not part of your community and are trying to share, promote something they have not experienced? Yes, the downsides is that, especially if you're like a smaller community, you can attract members that aren't a good fit for your community. So that's like they might join for reasons that aren't the reasons you'd want them to join. That's usually what happens if your benefit to the affiliates is like really high and like you have a bunch of salespeople selling your community. It can turn into a community that you're not super excited about. Okay, events. Hosting events with affiliates and or partners who invite their list. So not just hosting events for the people who are already on your list, but finding ways of reaching other people who are in different communities or who are invited by other people who you're partnering with on the event. Events should feel like the community feels. Same with matching that connection to learning ratio. You shouldn't do an event that you would never do in your community. You can consider adapting a community event that's already working for you within the community and thinking about what's a way of doing this for the public so they can really feel how it feels in the community. But again, it's important to use this as a growth channel. It's important to find ways to get new people who don't yet know you to join the event. So not just marketing to the people already on your list, but finding other people to promote the event. The next one is partnerships. I'm a big fan of partnerships. So with partnerships, you're basically finding a way to get in front of someone else's audience, and it's a catch-all, and it can include events, it can include some of these other things we're talking about. You can be partners with your affiliates, and the way to approach this is to prioritize the relationships that will consistently bring you new members instead of just one-off events or workshops. You can do one-off events and workshops as long as you have like a partnerships process. So if your plan is to do one-off event every month, then make sure that you have an engine to get you a new one-off event every month. But what's better is if you build relationships with your partners that are constantly bringing you new people. For example, I've done a bunch of workshops for Heartbeat. So this is like not the first time that I'm doing it. Like we're already familiar with each other. The process goes a lot smoother. I chat with them in between workshops. Like this is like a relationship that we've built over time, and it just makes everything easier. And instead of working to constantly build new partnerships, you're using the ones that you already have. So always look for communities or places where you can speak, for example, that complement what your community offers, and find people that you like to work with as you always become friends.